So much happened in that game. There's an 8-run inning from the offense, kind of a weird start from Trevor Rogers. The bullpen struggles for the first time in a while. How do you start to digest a game like that?
It's a crazy game. We were just in there talking. I'm not so sure we've seen a game like that here in a while outside of being at Fenway Park. It seems like those are the type of games we play there sometimes. But, we kind of jumped on them early. That's a pretty good pitcher out there, Taj Bradley. So good at bats, jump on them early. As they kind of got back in the game, it's almost the way our bullpen has been pitching, for the last 3 weeks. Their bullpen kind of did that to us, and just kind of the bullpen just probably didn't do what they've done here for a while. So it's a tough game. It hurts. That one really hurts. But, tomorrow's another day. We're going to have to bounce back and try to figure out how to win a game.
The Rays bullpen completely stumped the hitters. They didn't have another hit after the second inning. How frustrating is that to see from the hitters after having such a good second?
Yeah, I wouldn't say frustrating. It's not the right word. Those guys are good. That's a really good bullpen right there. So we hit some balls hard. You think about some of the swings that Jackson put on the ball tonight, and hitting balls right at guys, and they flipped a bunch of balls through the infield. You got to give their hitters a lot of credit. They battled. They stayed in the game. They had a lot of good at bats. They put the ball in play. A lot of balls fell in. A lot of balls got through holes, and that's ultimately what kind of did us in.
Did you feel either with the bullpen or with the hitters or just the team in general that there was sort of a snowball effect there as the Rays started to chip back?
Sure, I think momentum's a real thing. We talk about it. It didn't feel good when that thing was, 8-3 when we had to pull Trev. I told Rob, this doesn't feel good right now, and momentum's a thing, and I think we've probably been on the other side of those games over the last few years, and I don't feel like that's happened to us over the last couple of years, and, just unfortunately kind of went the other way tonight.
Tony, you haven't been in this role for a long time. When you're there, as you mentioned, you kind of feel the momentum start to go the other way. What is that like for you in the dugout?
You're just trying to solve problems, right? So you're not thinking about what just happened. You're thinking about what's next and how we're going to get through this. Even though I haven't done this, at this level, I've sat in the dugout in that seat in the minor leagues a lot and been a part of those games, both good and bad. So you understand you don't worry about what just happened. You just constantly try to figure out solutions and try to solve the problem at hand.
Brendan mentioned the weird Trevor Rogers start. How do you assess a start like that when he has to sit down for 30 minutes during a long inning, then he has a 36-pitch inning himself, loses his command a little bit?
Yeah, it was tough. The zone was tight too. There were some pitches that could have gone our way that didn't, kind of 50-50 type balls, and some nights you get those and some nights you don't. The fastball looked good in the first inning. He was in the zone. It felt like it was going to be a nice little outing for him right there, and then it just kind of fell apart a little bit. There's a lot of traffic. I do think that, as you guys watch it, it's really hot out there and guys are sweating, and the heat is wearing them out. So we haven't been in this a whole lot, and I do feel like tonight it affected us a little bit.
There are times when you're leading 8-3 and you feel great, and you said you didn't really feel that way. Was it just you just couldn't throw strikes or couldn't get out of innings, or what kind of led to your discomfort?
Well, I wouldn't say we felt great at 8-3. As I said, you can kind of feel the momentum. That's why we're going into the bullpen at that point in the game and, trying to stop the bleeding. We just couldn't stop the bleeding, And what's kind of crazy is some of the relievers that came in as, a couple quick outs right away. It seemed like our first out, get the first guy out, and then it just kind of, a walk, and then, maybe a cheap hit, and then boom, a double, and off the thing went. So, tough night, no doubt.
There were times earlier this season that a loss like this would maybe bleed into the next day or lead to a little bit of a losing streak. What's your confidence in the guys in there that they're not going to take this into tomorrow or this weekend?
We'll be ready to go tomorrow. We're going to face Rasmussen. It's going to be tough. We're going to have Charlie. We like Charlie against these guys. So it's going to be a battle one way or another. And then once we get out of here, we go to New York, and that's going to be a battle. So, guys aren't happy right now. They're not happy with this by any means. They'll digest it. They'll move on. They'll be ready to go tomorrow.